Good afternoon, Toastmasters. I'd like to introduce our Toastmaster for the day, Toastmaster Xavier Taylor.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so we cannot see you.
All right. Yeah, I was on the road right now, so I had to park real quick. All righty. So, first up, as a Toastmaster for today, I would like to welcome any important guests and anybody new here today. And first person I'd like to pull up today is our grammarian, which we had it down for Mara, right?
So today I'll be your grammarian and I'll be tracking for filler words and I'll be tracking the word of the day and filler words such as like, as, uh, and words like that during your speeches and table topics. Oh, what's the word today?
Here it is, extraordinary.
Extraordinary. The definition is very unusual or remarkable. An example sentence is the researchers made an extraordinary discovery. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I can't pull up the sheet right now. Who is our timer?
Sharika?
Sharika. Can you introduce the timers rule?
As timer, I will be changing my background depending on the time you all take for your speech. Table topic speakers should limit their remarks to less than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will show the green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will show the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I will raise the red card. Those giving speeches should limit their remarks to specific times. Icebreaker speeches should be 4 to 6 minutes long. At 4 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 6 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Most other speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes long. At 5 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 6 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I will raise the red card. The individual evaluation should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I will raise the red card. Thank you.
Alrighty, and now with those rules set, I would now like to bring up our first evaluator, which is Eric for Mr. Tim.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric, and I'll be evaluating Tim's speech on. Wait, sorry. What is it? False memories. Today we're looking for persuasion with your speech, and to be more specific, we're hoping to be inspired, convinced, or even take action on certain matters. It's best for you to not rely on notes and show your knowledge of your speech. Thank you.
I have a little presentation to go along with my speech as well. I can just. Yeah. So you can see this. This was actually a little research project I did for one of my classes at school. So what I focused mainly on this research was about false memories and how false memories can affect daily life. So to start off, I have a bit of context about false memories. So we first have to understand what exactly memories are to determine what false memories are. And memories is just the accumulation of experience and knowledge over a period of time. It's what shapes who we are today, and it's like shapes how we act and how we behave in everyday life. And our brain is what controls our memories. It's proven by research that our memories come from our hippocampus, and that just proves how complex our brain is and how truly extraordinary our brain is. And even though our brain is such a complex organ, it can sometimes have problems or errors, and this may come in the form of false memories. For example, our brain is kind of like a puzzle. We have many pieces, but sometimes you may lose a piece or you have a piece missing. And what your brain does is fill in those pieces with other information that may be false, fabricated, or not even, or lies. So, there you go. So for false memories, and then next up, this is my research question. This is my research question for my study. To what extent do false memories impact the daily life of people? And to first understand what false memories are, we have to figure out how they form. False memories mainly form under two categories which are external factors and internal factors. External factors are influenced from outside sources, like listening to another audience or another person about is listening to another person tell a story, and sometimes you can confuse their story as part of your own experience, and this may cause confusion and also sometimes misunderstanding situations. The next is internal factors. Internal factors are influenced by yourself and mainly internal situations or your experiences. And this can be, an example of this would be spreading activation, which is where similar concepts in your brain pop up when you think of one word or another. For example, if I were to say fire truck, some other words that pop up in your head might be a truck, the word fire, the word red, and or even firefighters. That is an example of spreading activation. So next up, what are some real world examples of false memories? In false memories, you might have all heard about the Mandela effect. This is a phenomenon where a group of people or a large number of people all collaboratively misremember a specific detail about an image or a topic. For example, I'm sure all of you guys know Star Wars, and in that Star Wars, a lot of people remember Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father," but what he actually says is, "No, I am your father." And next up, some real world situations are in the legal setting. This is a very serious problem with false memories, as many people in the legal or in testifying for cases and in the legal setting, they may falsely remember testimonies, and this can end up falsely causing false convictions, which can be very devastating for the person convicted, as they may be innocent, convicted of something they didn't even do, because someone falsely remembers a piece of evidence. Lastly is nostalgia. Nostalgia is something that we always reminisce on. We think about back, like all the good things, but mainly nostalgia is kind of biased towards our good memories and rather than our bad. So oftentimes when we think about nostalgia, we remember, oh, as a child, it was always fun to go on the playground and everything like that, but you may end up forgetting also the bad things that happen. And this may result in sometimes you forgetting lessons that you learned. For example, if you fell off a ladder on a playground, you might remember in the future to not go on that ladder or not climb up that high. But due to nostalgia, sometimes you may forget about those bad memories and you may end up repeating similar mistakes. Next up is impacts. So false memories can impact decision making. In decision making, false memories can, for a small example of decision making would be changing your food preferences. In a study done by a few researchers, they found that if they influenced you with false memories about certain foods, specifically negative false memories, the patients or the subjects tend to avoid those types of foods and drinks rather than eat it or like feeling attracted. And the opposite happens when they influence them with positive false memories of certain foods. And these memories tend to cause them to want to eat those foods more and have a greater attraction to those foods. And then reward-based decision-making is in the past, if you did an action that you felt was rewarding, or other people said it was rewarding for you, you may tend to try to copy or replicate those actions in the future. And lastly is misunderstandings. Of course, false memories can cause misunderstandings in people, mainly in social and family relationships. False memories can cause people to falsely accuse parents or even their best friends of something they didn't do and cause unwanted conflicts. So now going into the legal implications of false memories. This is the main important thing I want to talk about. False memories are very, very dangerous in legal settings, especially court cases, as there are many people who have been falsely convicted over the years because of someone who has testified falsely, or just even themselves, they don't know they have testified falsely, but they had false memories of inaccurate information. And because of this, some people have to live their life going in jail and being convicted of something they didn't do. And this is really dangerous, as the person testifying may not even know that they have been impacted by false memories. And due to this, it's very dangerous and hard to understand and figure out when false memories have occurred. Lastly, emotional impacts. Emotional impacts of false memories is very important, as false memories can impact the emotional state and self-perception of people. And this entails people who have false memories can sometimes feel more anxiety and depression. And because of this, they may lose self-confidence in themselves and also oftentimes stray away from certain relationships. Lastly, what are some mitigation strategies for false memories? Mainly, there's the more education on false memories will help people understand and realize that this is real, this is an actual thing, this can happen to everybody, and this will help them be more aware of certain information and allow them to fact check themselves more often rather than falsely believing everything they remember. Next up is recreating the environment. And this recreating the environment is a technique where you certain times go to a certain location where the first memory happened, and then you may be able to remember more accurate and more detailed information regarding that memory. Lastly is reinforcing original memories. And this just helps with active recall, active learning, where strategies where you try to remember things, where you write down things you learn. This is specifically for test taking and more study related situations where false memories can occur. And this is just more like you have a greater understanding of the topic and material, so you will be less likely to falsely remember it. In conclusion, false memories are quite common in our daily lives, and they can negatively impact a lot of people, especially in the legal setting, and it is quite dangerous if left unchecked for a long time. So it is important that everybody remembers that false memories can occur. You should sometimes fact check yourself and don't always completely believe in your own memories. And that's all. Thank you.
Evaluator number 2 is Anna, 4 Emma.
Our next speaker is Emma, and her project is project number 2, Organize Your Speech. We have heard Emma delivered her extraordinary icebreaker, so I'm looking forward to her second speech. Her objective of this speech is select an appropriate outline which allows listeners to easily follow and understand your speech. Make your message clear with supporting material directly contributing to that message. Use appropriate transition when moving from one idea to another. Create a strong opening and conclusion. Time is 5 to 7 minutes. Is that correct? The time? Okay. All right. Let's welcome Emma.
Today I'll be talking about Alfred the Great. And Alfred the Great was one of the most extraordinary kings of the Anglo-Saxons, and he had a life full of sagely achieved accomplishments. During his early years, his life impacted his future decisions. And after he became king, he fought in various battles for the good of his kingdom. And first of all, when he was young, his father brought him to Rome to meet Pope Leo IV. And the Pope made him consul. This impacted his future actions because young Alfred was inspired by how the people acted in Rome and the architecture. His mother also contributed to his love of poetry and learning. When he was young, his mother gave him and his siblings a book and told him that whoever memorized it first would get to learn it. And because Alfred loved to learn, he ended up memorizing the poem and getting it. And this led to him promoting reading and education later. And the second point is later when his brother Ethelred died in battle and made Alfred king, he fought in various battles. He fought in the Battle of Ashdown, and which routed a Danish army in an uphill battle. And in the Battle of Edington, he had a victory which was hard to earn. And also this secured Wessex and made it safer. But the most important battle was when there was no name for it, but Alfred captured the Danish king and made him sign a treaty for the Danes and Anglo-Saxons to have peace. And this impacted everyone because the Danish leader became a Christian and got baptized. And after that, Alfred went on a mission and decided to promote as much literacy and learning as possible. As I mentioned before, his younger life's experiences impacted him, and he went around and made education more accessible. He also improved the kingdom's defenses against possible Viking raids in the future. For example, he added a system called burhs, which were basically small fortresses around the kingdom and that weren't too far from each other, that allowed his subjects to farm but also quickly jump to the kingdom's defenses once attackers invaded. And he also designed a naval fleet specifically for patrolling the coastlines to ensure his kingdom's safety. And furthermore, he designed his own ships for future protection and the naval fleet. Alfred had improved his kingdom in various ways, but he died in 899 Anno Domini at the age of 51. He left behind a legacy that wouldn't be forgotten for a long time, and he was the only king to be called the Great. Still to this day, he's in the history books, and we are taught about him because of his many achievements and the impact of his actions. Thank you.
Next is evaluator Horace for Isaac. Oh, okay.
What speech number are you doing? Number 2. Wait, actually, use this. Okay, so for Isaac's speech, he's going to be talking about the history and evolution of yo-yos. And for this is his project number 2 speech. And for this project, I will be evaluating how well he made outlines, developed his opening, drafted his story, and then told his conclusion. As well as I'll also be paying attention to his many transitions in his speech, as well as how well prepared he was and how organized the whole speech was. And without further ado, Isaac.
9 times out of 10, if you were to go to your grandparents right now and ask them, what was your favorite toy that you used to play with as a kid? I guarantee you they would tell you it was the yo-yo. Now, the yo-yo is a toy that has been around for generations. I'm pretty sure your parents had played with them as a kid, your grandparents, your great-grandparents. As a matter of fact, yo-yos go back as far as 2,500 years. The first yo-yos were discovered to be as far back as 440 BC, but what you might not know was that yo-yos were originally used as weapons. Used by an ancient China tribe, yo-yos were originally large rocks with a center cut in them that where strings were wrapped around them. And they would use this weapon to not only defeat their enemies in war, but they would also use them in order to hunt large animals and large prey. Could you imagine a 5-pound rock getting hurled at you on a string? Me personally, I'd be terrified. I'd be running. Now, fast forward a few thousand years, and that takes us to the 1920s. Yo-yos at this point are the most popular toy ever created. Hula hoops? No. Teddy bears, which were number 2 at the time? No. Jump ropes? No. Everyone wanted a yo-yo. Now, back then, the yo-yo design was pretty basic. As you can see here, we have your standard wooden yo-yo, 2 sanded down wooden pieces with the string connected in the middle. Yo-yos could go up and down, but that's about it. No sleepers, no walk the dogs, no around the worlds, none of the tricks that you'll see yo-yos performing nowadays. But yo-yos were pretty much like what fidget spinners were in 2016. Every single kid in class either wanted them or had them. But before we get to that point, the peak of the yo-yos, let's rewind it back a little bit to the 1860s, where we see a man named Pedro Flores. Now, Pedro was the guy who created the first official toy yo-yo. Luckily, we weren't throwing this one at people's heads. Now, this yo-yo there aren't any pictures of it, as it is almost 150 years old, but this yo-yo was made out of wood, and it had a little wooden axle that would pretty much make the yo-yo spin as hard as you threw it. The harder you throw it, the longer it would spin. And as you pull it, it would catch on these little divots that were in the center of the yo-yo, and it would wrap the yo-yo back up, kind of like a clutch system. Now, a man whose name you might recognize saw potential in this design and patented it. That man's name was Danny Duncan. Keep in mind of that last name. Now, Duncan saw a lot of potential in this design. A toy that you could easily fit in your pocket, whip out, and start creating tricks of your own. So, in 1929, he patented this design and named the yo-yo. Before it was called the yo-yo, it was called the British Bandolier. I know, weird name. Now, yo-yos were the most popular toy in the world from 1910 all the way up until around the 1960s, after which it started dying out, as most trends do. What you might not know is that yo-yos make a comeback very recently, and we can thank that comeback because of TikTok. Now, we all remember 2020, year of the pandemic. We were all stuck in the house, and most importantly, the peak of TikTok. Now, in the TikTok scene, there is one man who revolutionized yo-yoing for the beginning. You all might even recognize him yourself. This man's name was Angelo Aguirre. Now, yo-yos at this point have evolved around nothing that you could think of. After all, we aren't stuck on the same iPhone we were in 2001, were we? Yo-yos have evolved and have taken advantage of technology that we currently have and now can spin for up to 10 minutes on the high end. The world record, in fact, is 28 minutes and 33 seconds. Think of it. You could drive from here to Millington and that yo-yo would still be spinning. Isn't that just insane? Now, this man has over 5 million followers on TikTok, and he reinvented a trick known as Godspeed, which is a speed combo, and you pretty much doing a rail combo as fast as you can. I will demonstrate that later. Now, I'm sure you all seen this case I have here, and of course, we're all waiting for the demonstration. Now, unlike the 1920s, where there was only one type of yo-yo, wooden, random axle, can only go up and down, we now have 2 different types of yo-yos. Now, these all fall into multiple categories, but there are 2 main types. You have your responsive yo-yo, which you drop down and it comes back up. And then you have your unresponsive yo-yo, which, when you throw it down, it should not come back up. I say should, if you don't know how to take care of your yo-yo, it will come back up. And in that case, you need to watch a tutorial. And as you can see, when I tuck on this yo-yo, it does not come back up, and you have to do what is called a bind in order to return it to your hand. Now, the bind is basically purposefully knotting the yo-yo and catching it on 2 silicone pads that are designed in between the yo-yos. Now, back in the day, these silicone pads would have been replaced by little divots, and if you want, you can pass this around. And those would caught the yo-yo. However, these silicone pads do not mess up the weight distribution of the yo-yo as actual engravings in the body panels would. So it is a lot more convenient. Not only did we take advantage of the pads, but we also took advantage of modern day ball bearings. This ball bearing is the singular reason yo-yos are spinning for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Before the ball bearings, we had what is called a transaxle. Unfortunately, I broke my transaxle yo-yo because back in the day I used to be terrible at yo-yoing. Ask Kennedy, she'll tell you. Now, transaxles are these little white bearings. I can pull up a picture, but they allowed you to get maybe about 30 minutes of sleeping time. For those who don't know, sleeping is what we call a yo-yo that is just spinning at the bottom of the string. However, transaxles are outdated, and they went out of style around 1990. Now, the great thing about having a bearing in a yo-yo is that you can wrap the string and invent tricks that would never be possible. If you tried this on a yo-yo that was 80 years old, you'd probably hit yourself in the face. However, this complex design of the yo-yo allows you to make tricks that will blow people away. And not much people know how to yo-yo. That's the good part of it. There are not much people who can learn and do this properly. In conclusion, yo-yoing has been around for decades, years even centuries, eons. However, it is always evolving and it is always getting better. And this is the extraordinary tale of how the first yo-yo was created and how yo-yos have evolved up until now. Thank you.
Next up, I'd like to introduce, I will be evaluating Adia for her speech. Her first speech, The Icebreaker. It's a 4 to 6 minute speech. I'm looking forward to learning who you are and
Table topics first.
Yeah, I'm introducing you. And I'm also looking forward to hearing the word of the day, extraordinary. I'll be evaluating you on several key points. 1, do you make strong points about yourself? 2, are you well prepared? Are you speaking loud and clear and at a good pace? How is your body language? Are you comfortable? Does your speech have an opening, a body, and a conclusion? How often do you have to use notes? And what is are you making eye contact? And also, I will try, if there's any, I'll try to give some improvement ideas, and I'll explain what I liked. So I'm looking forward to hearing your extraordinary speech. So next up, with the icebreaker, Toastmaster Adia.
My name is Adya Chirvori and I was born on January 10, 2013 in Little Rock, Arkansas. I am now 12 years old. When I grow up, I want to be a pediatrician or a kid's doctor. I want to be a pediatrician because I want to be a doctor, but since pediatricians don't see as much blood as other doctors, that is why I want to be a pediatrician. I personally think I'm pretty good with kids, and I think they have a brighter and more imaginative mind and aren't as irritated when it comes to meeting new people. My hobbies are reading books and writing stories. I like to read books because if I had a rather bad day, books take me to a world where nothing's wrong, and that helps me have a break from reality before something drags me back. I love to read action and fantasy, and this helps me see how different the world can be compared to the world in books. While I like to read books, I also like to write them. I like to write action and adventure the most. The book I would write would be about a character about the character's real family and finding friends along the way. The plot of my book would involve challenges the character faces after meeting another character who wants to hold her back from finding who their family is and who the main character really is. A favorite book of mine inspires me to think before I say or do anything. My favorite character in the book is the main character and is a girl. For example, if the main character is supposed to make a big decision in a matter of time, she will think through the options, make sure her team is okay with the decision she made, and then carry the deed out. Inspired by my favorite character, I now think before I say anything so that what I say won't hurt the people I'm talking to. Thank you.
Table topics will be in here.
Hello, I'm your Table Topics Master. My name is Kennedy, and I'm very excited to get this session started. First, I would like to have Amara come up. If you had to be haunted by a ghost forever, but you had to choose who it is, who would you choose and why?
Like, can the ghost be? Can it be like somebody who's like passed away and they turn to?
Anybody who's passed away.
Okay. So, I think I would have Michael Jackson because he makes, like, imagine you're going to sleep or you're going to the kitchen or like anywhere in your house and then you just hear some random noises and then it's Michael Jackson's voice. He passed away too soon and his music is very nostalgic and extraordinary. So it's different, and out of like all the music people who passed, Michael Jackson is definitely somebody who would be funny to be haunted by. I would be very happy to be haunted by Michael Jackson. And just imagining or like him seeing you, like if you could see him and like you're in the mirror and then you see Michael Jackson, because he was like kind of light, like white when he passed. So he probably, I would want him as younger though, because he was in his prime when he was younger. So in his songs, that would be really funny too. I would probably want to be haunted by Michael Jackson.
All right, next one is to Arjun. If animals could talk, which one would be the rudest?
It would be cats because cats make scratchy noises and I don't like cats, so and they have sharp claws, so if I said something rude to him back, he would start scratching me crazy. Thank you.
Mr. Jason, was there a moment where you realized you were completely wrong about something, but you still refused to admit it?
as extraordinary as I am, there are times when I'm wrong. But I cannot think of an example right now. And Deanna, do you know of any? I didn't think so. Because I'm right most of the time. If you don't know, just ask me. So I'm really having a hard time coming up with a real example. I'm sure they're out there, and I know they are out there actually. But I think the lesson to be learned is you can resolve an issue if you admit you're wrong instead of hanging on to your pride and never admitting you're wrong, because that creates a lot of friction. And you lose friends or whatever relationships with that kind of attitude. So a time when I was wrong and did not admit it, I'm sure they're out there. I can't think right now off the top of my head. If I come up with one, I'll let you know. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Toastmaster Michael, if everybody had to swap out one of their five senses for a sixth one that you got to pick, what sense would you choose to swap out, and which one would be the sixth one?
I would probably swap out my sense of touch for, I forget what's the sense called that you get to feel things around you, where basically without having to touch something, you could feel the objects around you already. So it's essentially upgrading your sense of touch to a more advanced version where instead of just the things you touch, you can simply feel everything around you. And this would be very useful because I can still receive information about objects even though I'm not touching them. I feel like this would not actually be depriving myself of a sense, but upgrading myself to be a more improved human being, so to speak. Now, it's a bit fictional, so I understand that it's not really possible. Thank you.
Jivith, if you were forced to ban one major holiday forever, which one would it be?
If I was supposed to spend one major holiday, it'll be like, not exactly certain which one I'll do, because I don't exactly like celebrate all them. Well, I don't celebrate all them. I celebrate some of them, but not all of them. If I remember one of them, it'll be like, what is it called again? I forgot what it's called. It's like, I forgot what it's called. No. It's black. Wait, what? What is it called again? What do you do on the holiday? I forgot what it's called.
What month is it?
Huh?
What month is it?
I do not know. Describe it. It was like sounded something close to like Hanukkah or something. Oh yeah, Kwanzaa. Oh, whatever it's called. So Alvin Kwanzaa or something like that.
Gia, if you could remove one human emotion from existence, which one would it be and how would it affect the world?
If I could remove one human emotion from all the thousands of emotions we have, it would probably be something like sassiness, because I don't really like people being sassy, because like it's very arrogant, and I know like a lot of people at school who are like sassy all the time, and it's kind of annoying every time they be like sassy, and every time I try to say something, they just bring the sassy mood up. So if people weren't sassy, then they'd feel something else. I'm fine if they feel angry or sad or happy. I just do not like the sassiness tone that they are bringing toward others. So if I could ban any emotion, I would ban that one.
All right. What's one invention that should have never been made? Kanika.
One invention that I think should never be made is the toothbrush, because I hate brushing my teeth. it's always very annoying, and the dentist says I have to brush my teeth longer. I guess you can just, I don't know, use your hand. I, I saw another thing on YouTube. It's where it's kind of like gum, but it actually cleans your teeth very badly, but it still cleans your teeth. Thank you.
Miss Anna, what's one dish that reminds you of your childhood and why?
Kennedy, thank you for that question. So the question is, what is that one food that reminds me of my childhood? And I have to say, it's this bread thing. It is made of rice, and I cannot find it here. And I can only find it when I go back to China for the summer. It will be on the street. It is street food for breakfast. And every morning I would go out and buy one. It is made of rice. There's a cross on the top. You may call it a cross bun, but it's made of rice. Yeah, it's just, it's a little sweet, not too sweet. It takes, the people who make it normally get up 4 o'clock in the morning and then make a whole bunch and steam them and then ready to sell. It is very low calorie, just a little sweet, not too sweet. It is like a bread. It's very healthy. You take it and that's your breakfast. No need for anything extra. So for me at this age, a very healthy, lean breakfast is good. That's the thing I will take, and that's the thing that reminds me of my childhood. Thank you.
Now, Isaac, sorry to call on you again, but if you had to be stuck in one TV show or anime, which one would it definitely not be?
If I had to be stuck in one TV show or anime, which one would it not be? And why give one when I can list 10,000 right off the top of my head? Starting off with Dragon Ball Z, I would get absolutely obliterated. Anyone who watches the anime would know. Second off, Walking Dead. Who would want to live in a world where you're being chased by thousands of zombies and have to watch your friends and family suffer and trying to survive? Second would be any Marvel movie where there's a threat every single 5 years. I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to deal with the stress of the Earth nearly getting destroyed by evil robots and monster villains every so often. Fourth would be I Am Legend. Those who have watched the movie know exactly why I would not want to be in it. For those who have not watched the movie, it is about this man and his dog who are the last humans on Earth. Everyone else has been infected by a virus that turns them not into zombies, but into monsters whose only goal is to eradicate humans. It affects dogs too, and the man's dog dies later on in the show because he has to suffocate it after it got bit by one of the monsters and almost turned into a monster himself. It's a very traumatic movie. The main character dies at the end trying to save the last human who was there, as they try to escape to a camp of about 100 people on top of a mountain. So those are my picks on movies and shows and anime that I would definitely not want to live in. Thank you.
I think we need to wrap up the... Okay, I got one more left. Is that fine?
Let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think we have 4 evaluations. Yeah. So the first evaluator is... Y'all can stay if y'all want to take more questions after the meeting.
You can finish up the questions once the meeting's done if anyone wants to stay longer. Yes, you will.
Alright, so Tim had an excellent speech, an extraordinary speech, getting to the point and informing us with information regarding false memories. He demonstrated a great understanding about his speech and didn't always need to rely on his slides or notes. Tim gave us multiple examples of false memories and how or why it happens, explaining various topics like the Mandela effect, nostalgia, and real-world false memories, help persuade the way we saw false memories, and demonstrate his mastery for Project 9. Some things you could do better is engage with the audience and by asking some questions or include some like more humor, I guess. You could also work on your transition words, use like a lot of the same words, and you could like switch it up so it just sounds more fluent. Overall, Tim had a good speech and it was really persuasive. Thank you.
Right. It's my honor to evaluate Emma's second speech. Emma's topic is Alfred the Great. It is very organized. You started from the childhood and all the way to talk about several of his achievements. And you have a very calm tone. It helps for audience to listen to. I will quickly get to the point, which I think you can improve on. The first is the organization can still be more clear and organized. You can have 3 points. For example, the first one is he had a childhood. His mother promoted him to learn, study more, read more, and the impact to his adulthood and to his kingdom. So you can summarize that, hey, that's the first achievement. So when you give an achievement, you tell the background, that's his childhood. And then you tell the progress of that story, which is his adulthood. He went to Rome and saw all the beautiful things, and then the impact he had for his kingdom, the children of his kingdom. The second achievement is his emphasis on the protection, security of his kingdom. You can talk about the history, the background of that time. Are they in a situation where they're facing the attack from other country? What is the relationship between the British and the Denmark? Why they're fighting? So that's something when I was listening to your speech, I was having a question about. So in your speech, if you can give a background, describe the scene, and then say the impact, that 3-step, that could be more clear. You probably have the third point, because of the time. The third point, I believe, is, I think these are the 2 major points, but 2 is fine, 2 is fine, 3 is good, but I would recommend no more than 3 because people will tune out, just a little too much information, but 3 is good, but you have 2. So I would recommend you to further organize your speech that way to summarize background, progress, and the impact. But overall, it is a great speech, extraordinary, and I really enjoyed it. I learned a whole lot about Alfred the Great. So thank you so much for your speech. Looking forward to your next one. All right, and next, evaluator is team.
So I am the evaluator for Isaac's second speech. And first off, that was a really great speech. You were really fluid in all your things. You knew a lot of your topic, and you showed what I liked the greatest was your demonstrations of the yo-yo. It was very wonderful, very engaging. So to start off, I really loved like your hook and your intro into your topic. And when you started off with like an interesting fact about how yo-yos were used as a tool in war, I feel like that engaged a lot of the audience. I felt like a lot of people here didn't know that before, and that was like something that I was like, oh wow, I never knew that. It's a new piece of information that I know now. Next up, I'd like to say you had a really great conversational tone with the audience, and the way you were talking with us, it felt like you were comfortable, you were knowledgeable, and then it kind of felt like you're just talking to your friends. And you had great facts in there, great hook. It was obviously very well organized and very well prepared. You talked through everything. I kind of liked how you separated your topic into giving like a topic and then kind of rewinding back to about the history and then giving more information about it, kind of jumping back and forth. I was like engages and not just like one chronological event. While some people might like that, I feel like it's more engaging to kind of hop around a little bit, give information here and there. And then lastly, your demonstrations are wonderful. I like how you pass around props, engaging with the audience, letting them see your yo-yos, and also demonstrating some tricks. I don't think I'd ever do a yo-yo. I had a yo-yo back in the day, but like all I knew how to do was just swing it down and bring it back up. And now I know there's different types of yo-yos too, which is really interesting. And then, yeah, overall, I'd say it's might have been one of the best speeches I've heard. So I don't really know what else to tell you about, like what to work on, but if I had to nitpick, maybe I felt like the conclusion might have been slightly rushed a little bit, just because like I saw the time was running out. So I'm sure you have a lot more information. You could talk to us. You could probably talk to us for like 10 more minutes or so. It seems really, really knowledgeable on this. So yeah, overall, great speech. It was really great. Good job.
All right. I'm here to evaluate Heidi on her icebreaker speech. First off, great job. Great job. I think you're going to be very comfortable giving speeches throughout your career, as you get on this journey, because for a first-time speech, you did really well. I think you're going to be an extraordinary speaker one day. So keep up the good work. I thought your speech was your speech was very interesting. We got to learn a lot about you, and it was easy to follow. You also have a very loud and clear voice, so it's easy to understand. So great job there. Two things I'd like for you to work on. One, you spend a lot of time reading your notes, right? So kind of do a little more rehearsal before the speech. That way you don't have to read the notes word for word. Maybe you just have an outline and you can just kind of read the outline as a reminder and then go through the speech. But also slow down between each sentence. It's like right. Slow it down a little bit. But overall, outstanding job. You're going to be an extraordinary speaker. I can see it. So keep up the good work. I hope you go back and watch yourself on YouTube when it gets posted, and you can kind of watch it like game film and evaluate yourself, and you can learn from that. But I think overall, you're going to be an outstanding speaker. So good job. Next up, we need Marion.
Okay, so for speeches, Tim had 1 filler word, Emma had 0 filler words, and she used the word of the day. Isaac had no filler words, and Adia had no filler words. For table topics, Arjun had no filler words, Mr. Jason had no filler words, and word of the day. Michael had no filler words, Javid had 6 filler words, Gia had 0 filler words, Kanika had 0 filler words, Miss Anna had 1, Isaac had 0 filler words. For the evaluators, Eric had used the word of the day, Miss Anna had 0 filler words, Sam had 1, and Mr. Jason had 0 in word of the day.
For the timers report, Tim had a speech that was 7 minutes and 43 seconds long. Emma's speech was 5 minutes and 8 seconds long. Miss Anna's speech was 20 seconds. Never mind. Isaac's speech was 8 minutes and 11 seconds long. Adia's speech was 1 minute and 56 seconds long. Amara's table topic was 1 minute and 17 seconds long. Arjun's table topic was 19 seconds long. Mr. Jason's table topic was 52 seconds long. Michael's table topic was 55 seconds long. Jivet's table topic was 1 minute and 65 seconds long. Gia's table topic was 40 seconds long. Pranika's table topic was 37 seconds long. Miss Anna's table topic was 1 minute and 25 seconds long. Isaac's table topic was 1 minute and 30 seconds long, and for evaluations, Eric had 50 seconds long. Miss Anna was 2 minutes and 57 seconds long. Tim was 2 minutes and 7 seconds long, and Mr. Jason had 1 minute and 12 seconds.
General evaluator. His philosophy is not here. Today I'll be the general evaluator. I thought the meeting went really well. We started on time. We had a lot of participation, some excellent speeches, excellent table topics, and some great responses. So great job. As we close out the semester, I look back on our first couple meetings and where we are now. And as a team, we've really grown a long ways in how we handle the meeting itself plus our speeches. So everybody's done an outstanding job this year. So great job.
Thank you, Mr. Jason, for that recap of the semester. But we still have a meeting next week, and it's gonna be fun meeting. We're gonna have games, some food, and some recognition. So I hope y'all will come join. We're trying to come up with some fun games, team building games. So if you have any idea, you can send it to our president, Isaac. His email address is IKE, starting IKE.
I will write my email address down and I will lay it down in the middle of the table before you all leave. You all can take pictures of it and just shoot me an email if you have any suggestions and board games you want to bring, and I'll work with them.
Yes, and during the week, I will send out a survey. Yeah, I would like to hear y'all's idea how we can improve what you have learned and what you think we can do better next semester. Okay? And I'm very excited about this semester, and I think y'all did a wonderful job. Yep. All right. Cheer for the next fun meeting. All right. Yes. Yeah, Michael?
Oh, I thought of the thing I was talking about. So I wanted to replace my fifth sense with telekinesis. Like you can move objects around with just your mind. I couldn't think of it at the time, but I looked it up.
We learned that word too today. Thank you. You're gonna be a good doctor. Extraordinary doctor. All right. See ya.
You can finish the rest of the.